All right, I think I'm working. I think we're on here. Be good to go. Can everyone hear me all right? I got Jim in the chat. How you doing, Jim? It's been a while. Been a hot minute. I'm finally getting back into doing live streams, as I just made a mess here. That was brilliant timing. Finally getting back into doing live streams again because I've had a bit of a busy holiday season and I want to get the ball rolling on this again. So this is hopefully going to become a regular thing. I think so far on Wednesday nights. We'll see how that goes, depending on what happens, because I also do another stream on Wednesdays. I just came off of a good friend of mine, his Star Trek stream. Dave Prime 1701, if you ever want to check that out. And he had a special guest on tonight. I can't think William. I can't think of his last name, but they were talking about post-labor economics, and the discussion went heavily into AI, which was interesting because that was one of the two things I wanted to talk about tonight. Is I wanted to talk about AI, its impact on the art world, and the other big thing I want to talk about a little later after that is the fact that Apple just dropped their new Creative Suite, which I think will rival Adobe, and it's a little bit different. It actually isn't. They dropped the information about it. It actually won't become available until the 28th. But I want to actually talk about it. I spent the afternoon kind of looking into how it works, what the price points are going to be, and what that means for programs that you own, and because it's going to a streaming service, but it may not affect everything you have. But we'll go into that a little bit later. I want to just have a chat. Normally I come in here and I draw, and I suppose I could do that a little later on, but I really wanted to talk a little bit more about this tonight on the whole thing of AI. If you want to chat, I don't use StreamYard. If you want to jump in and say something, I'm certainly welcome to open that up. I don't want to spend a long night. It is midnight here where I am, but I don't fall asleep till after 4 a.m. because my system's all buggered up. But I can send a separate private guest invite for that. I know when I was on Dave's show, he just puts it in the bottom, invites anyone to come up. I'd like to kind of keep it limited. That's if you want to come up and say something and throw in your 2 cents worth. If you'd like, you're certainly welcome to do that, and I can send out a private link just for that. So I did a thing this week. I did a little bad thing, a little no-no that I swore up and down I would never do, and I went and did it. I started fiddling around with Sora 2. That thing is terrifying, but it's terrifying because it got kind of fun. And I'm going to stop. I didn't use it to intentionally create any art, and I told myself I wasn't going to do that. I was working with it on a little bit different level, on something cinematic. It's kind of scary, but it's also still not there yet. When you try and make little scenes and conversations between characters, it constantly gets dialogue mixed up. It makes weird things. It doesn't follow your instructions. It's not there yet. But some of the scenes with people look like real people. So it is, and it does it quick. Like within a few minutes, it'll make like a 10 or 15-second scene of realistic looking people that apparently have the wrong dialogue coming out of each other's mouths constantly. Like 9 out of 10 videos that'll do that. There's a lot of people doing their own little cartoon shorts. Some of them are kind of cute. You are getting an idea of some people's creativity. And I think there's, but it all looks alike. It's all trying to copy Pixar kind of thing, right? I think that's all it knows. Hi, Carol Spictor. Hi. Yes, that was my thought too. Eventually, I'd like to be able to see if there's a way I can upload my work, especially as just key poses, and then see if it can actually in between and get the damn dialogue right. It's not consistent either. Like if I tell it to say something and it has this particular voice, you have it for that 15 seconds. You go back in, you want to do another 15 seconds. It's going to make, even if you give the exact same description, it's going to make a whole new character and it'll make a whole new voice. So you can't continue it. There is a way you can capture, if you develop a person, this fake person, and then you capture a scene from it, you can make that into a guest or a star for your shows, and it'll keep reusing it, but it'll never be exactly the same. It'll still make sort of a new person that just looks like the previous one that you had. But you can keep that description and give them a name, and that'll be as one of your actors or your performers or models or guests, whatever. And so it'll keep reusing that person. My biggest problem in using it, I wouldn't have a huge problem playing around with it, except that I know a little bit more about the environmental costs of using it. It's horrible. It uses an excessive amount of fresh water to cool the machines down, a gross amount of water. That's not a good thing. Apparently they're working on that. Apparently they're trying to find ways of cooling these machines off so it doesn't use so much water. And if that's the case, then I can maybe play around with it. The discussion we had on AI tonight is how it's going to affect artists. Because it is already starting to affect jobs, especially graphic designers who do things like making logos for companies. Now a company can just have this AI program and for nothing come up with a whole new bland, boring logo that they think is amazing and has no human touch to it at all. But they can do that and they don't care. So it is impacting the art world. It is impacting artists on a corporate level. Now, the interesting thing, I think, actually, is that while it is impacting them and they're losing the ability to get work that way, people still like handmade work. We go into store, we buy prints, right? I mean, an artist creates something and then he could sell the original for a lot of money, which can take a long time, or he can take a picture of it, a nice high quality picture of it, and sell them as prints for $10. And he could sell 100 of them. If he sells 100 of them for $10, he's made $1,000 off that one paint, and still has the original. And then if he wants to sell the original, he can do that. So there is that way of mass producing and mass distributing your work. But AI is a whole different thing. AI is actually typing in instructions, prompts, and then letting it just randomly come up with something and surprise you when it's done. You have no control over what it's going to do. It's just going to make it, and then you're going to you're waiting while that thing produces. Well, a few minutes, and a few minutes later, it pops up, and then there it is. And as I was talking about in the Star Trek chat earlier, one of the concerns on that is where it's getting its information from when it puts this together. I don't know how AI works. I've had it explained a few times, but my concern is the fact that as AI art is popping up, people are looking at it and they're seeing bits and pieces of their work in these things, along with their signature. That's concerning. So the only area I would ever think of using AI is if I'm trying to find a certain photo reference and I can't find exactly what I'm looking for, and I can tell it to make a horse jumping out of a box, going left to right on a 3/4 view in such and such and such and such and such. And you have all this detail. I might be able to produce that. And it's like, okay, that's, if it gets close enough to what you're looking for, then you have a bit of reference. That's maybe the only area I would ever think of possibly even using it. But I don't know. I'm hesitant on doing anything like that with it. It's unsettling the realism it can create. But as I was saying, I think you go to any art store, you go into Michael's or anything that sells art, there's still paints all over the shelves. You can buy your paints, you can buy your pencil crayons, you can buy all that physical fun media, because people like to make things. People like to have art that's created by a person, a physical person that exists, that put some insight, some feeling and heart and emotion and etc. into that particular piece. And then you have, whether it's a print or you have an original, you buy the artist. I've always said for years, you're kind of buying the artist. You're not just buying the art, right? Because if there's an artist that you don't like, you're not going to necessarily buy their work, right? But so people like that, and I think also, as far as creating art, I'm encouraging people to make things. And I'm going to be starting a little series here on my channel, Art is Therapy, which is encouraging people to go out, and whether you think you're an artist or not, if you're saying, I'm not an artist, I can't draw, I can't paint, you know what? I'm gonna challenge people to go buy something from the art store, some pencil crayons, some paint, something really cheap that you're not spending a lot of money on. And then I'm going to sit down in a live stream, and we're going to just make something. We're just going to put that physical media right down to a surface, and we're going to make something. Whether it turns out good or whether it turns out bad, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter whether you think you're an artist or not. You're going to physically create something, because that does something in the mind. It starts creating some dopamine hits when you start seeing some colors, and you're making these lines, and you start producing something that's yours. And if it comes together, there's something unique there and about that. Karos, I'm a new follower. What kind of art do you do for the most part? I see mostly Western caricature. Ren and Stimpy fan. Very quickly, hi, I'm Phil. Very quickly, I used to work in animation many years ago. I live near Toronto, and I used to work at Nelvana when that used to be a thing. I did a little bit of in-betweening on Babar the Elephant, and then I did layout for Rupert the Bear. Believe it or not, I worked on that for about a year or so, and I really enjoyed that job. I wasn't big on in-betweening. It's a very monotonous job I'm not thrilled about. But I really liked doing layout, and I enjoyed working on Rupert, and I was hoping to keep working there about when the contracts ended, and a lot of it started going digitally. A lot of it started, and at the time I didn't know anything about any kind of computers. I thought this is the early 90s. What version of Babar was whatever Nelvana produced. This is like 93, 94. So whatever was coming out of Nelvana. I didn't spend a long time on it. I did a test. I did, because to get into a studio, they give you a test. So I did an in-between test. I came in and just kept building off of that test, weirdly. I just did a few scenes. It wasn't very much. I don't even remember if I saw the one that I did, but I did. I enjoyed doing Rupert the Bear though a lot more. That was actually a lot of fun. After that ended, I just did a lot of stuff on my own, because everything was converting to. Don't forget the what was that film that came out? The Toy Story came out. Toy Story came out, and the industry changed forever. I always knew computers were coming as far as making digital computer animation. We just didn't expect, like when was it Tin Toy and then Toy Story. Tin Toy was the short, and then Toy Story was the full-length feature. We didn't expect it to change that quickly. So I started learning to do caricatures. I went down to worked at Ontario Place, which is a big theme park. That was a big theme park. That's another story. We'll talk about that another time. Very frustrating what they're doing to that place. But Ontario Place is being demolished and turned into a spa. It's gross. But I did, when it used to be a fun place to go to for the family, I was doing caricatures, and I learned to do caricatures. I didn't think it was something I'd ever do until I actually started getting to do it, and then I started really enjoying it. So I did that for a few years. Just kind of did my own thing for a long time. I ended up taking a lot of jobs because I had to work, doing security and bullshit jobs that I just wasn't, I don't know. It's a long story, and I've talked about it before, and maybe I'll save it to tell it again another time. But now with this magical thing called YouTube that we have here, I can kind of start making work and making art and sharing it with people. And I've been trying to get that off the ground for a few years, but it's been difficult just because of life and because shit keeps hitting the fan. So I'm trying it again this year. I've got some plans. So anyway, so that's just a quick background on what I do. Ren and Stimpy fan, yes and no. It was a bit weird, I thought. Some of it did make me laugh, some of it was funny, and some of it was just so absurd. I had sort of mixed feelings on it, and I want to save that. I'll get it another time. But I don't know if I've got apparently 5 viewers in here. So if is there anyone here that came over from Dave's Trek channel? If you are, speak up. Let me know in the chat. As I said, if you want to pop in, I can send a link privately, and we can kind of continue that chat that we had. As we were talking about how art is going to be affected by AI. I think it's going to come around full circle because while they'll probably AI will become advanced to make things like some basic things like logos, you could probably make like some fake comic books and that. But while they might produce them, it's going to miss the human quality, which I think will be a long time before AI could ever develop anything close to that, if it ever does. But people want something that's physically made. I mean, it's going to come to a point where you're going to get a lot of AI slop all over the place, but then all of a sudden you come across that thing that somebody has physically made. And that's going to be a big deal. What's that? Might want to switch top chat to live chat. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Where do I switch that here? Oh, they've changed all this around now. Damn it. I don't get that much activity. I don't know if that would change anything at all. I don't see where it is on here. They've actually changed this around. I never noticed that. I don't really get that many comments. I can't. I can't see. I don't want to spend a long time on this. I can't see where that changes here on. I'm using Talk Studio, and I actually don't see where it changes. I'll probably have to just wing it for now. You click stream and it doesn't change it. Just private and stream, that's it. I'll have to go with this for now because I don't see where that changes. Yeah, so I appreciate that though. Thanks for mentioning that. Maybe next time I'll make sure that's set up beforehand before I start, for sure. Like I said, I don't get a lot of people that actually chime in all that much, so yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that. I thought it kind of did that automatically. All right. Anyways, yeah, I do want to start a new series probably in the next couple of weeks, where I'm going to encourage people to buy some art supplies and just get something cheap. Don't, especially if you are not an artist, you don't consider yourself artistic in any way. That's great, actually. I would say instead of rushing out and buying some like expensive paints, don't get something from your local dollar store. If you're from Canada, Dollarama, Dollar Tree has all that stuff too. Pick something up, some cheap, and I'll be making another separate video for this to encouraging people to go get something, and what kind of paper to get to draw, paint, color on. And then I'm going to have a couple of big live sessions where we can create something, and it's just to put that tool to the paper and make something, get some colors down, and to kind of create something, and maybe some ways of making basic shapes that you can put together to make something. because everything, I believe, all breaks down into very basic shapes, right? Your square, your sphere, your cone, etc. And so we'll go through all that, and I can show you how to put that together to make something really, really neat, and then to encourage people to make something. And you'll see it's a much more rewarding experience than sitting down and typing in a prompt to make something that looks like what we call AI slop, because you can kind of tell it is. You can tell it's you look at AI, it kind of gives itself away. You can tell it has this weird digitally look to it. Now, there's been people who've done side-by-side comparisons, and I know it can make, somewhat some realistic looking stuff. But yeah, there's nothing like the feeling of just making something, even if it doesn't. And I even say, listen, if you even want to use a tablet, I use a big tablet here, and I have a nice iPad as well, and I do some work on that. I've been spoiling myself a lot with that lately, because it's still this tool to a surface. The tool to a surface, and it's hitting it, and you are making the strokes with your hand, and that is still something that is something that comes out of you. So whether it's a pencil, a paintbrush, a marker, or a digital tool, and you're hitting a surface, whether it's paper, wood, or glass, and going into something that's mechanical, it's following your lead, and you are making this thing, and you're putting your heart and your soul and your imagination and your ideas into it. So I still personally count it that way. I know some people that don't. I'm not going to get into that debate. That's for another time. Am I a fan of 3D? Yeah, yes, I've never really experimented that much with it, but I'm not 100% against it for the same reasons I'm kind of discussing here. I'm not strictly 2D, although I really like 2D animation, because that's what I grew up with. That's what I learned to do, and I would love to see it come back. It's trying to make a comeback, and I wish they would just do it. If you have a chance to, if you have not seen on YouTube yet, an ex-Disney animator by the name of Aaron Blaise, over the last 3 years, has created by hand everything, a 11-minute short film called Snow Bear. And if you have not had a chance to sit and watch Snow Bear, I encourage you to go into YouTube and go look at that. And when I say it's hand done, he did it through live streams. He made a lot of it, showing people his process. And he does the flipping. He does the flipping and draws it and flips it, shows how you in between and all of that, right? And which is, you can tell by the finger motion, I still remember kind of how to do that. But yeah, he does all that by hand. Go watch Snow Bear. The painting, I think the backgrounds and whatnot are all still done on a tablet. But everything in there, the only thing I think he didn't do was the music. Everything else and any kind of sound effects. But all done by hand. All done completely by hand. It's incredible. So there is, and I think it's already got entered in for an Academy Award. I think it's entered into what do you call it? It could possibly be up for a best animated short, and I hope it does, because I think it'll win if he gets in there. Aaron is amazing. God, he's the same age as me, and just he got in at Disney though, right? He got in with Disney. So he got to work with like the best of the best. So, yeah, it's out there. The work, people are still making physical, and people like physical art. That's why there's so many popular YouTubers out there. I really like watching ACD Art Attack. He's a lot of fun, actually, and I'd love to have him as a guest on here sometime. I think it'd be great. People still like I'm drawing his blank on his name, from Australia. I got frustrated with watching him. I don't watch. There was something that happened, and it kind of annoyed me, and I stopped watching him. But he makes physical art, and he encourages people to make physical art, and I have to respect him for that. But he's 6 million viewers, and I'm drawing a blank. It's going to drive me friggin' nuts on what his name is. Another one I really like is Kesh, Kesh. He's Indian, but all his stuff is in English. Thank you, Jazza. Draw with Jazza. Yeah. Jazz is another one. I was watching for years and I had stopped after a while, but I'm kind of been hooked on ACD Art Attack from England. I really like his stuff. And from such Paprika, I've heard that's really good. I've heard that's really, really good. I have a friend of mine that I don't watch as much anime. Not to say I don't knock it at all. The stuff they make is friggin' fantastic. I love Miyazaki's stuff a lot. Like I really like his things. I just don't. I think this part was just I don't have time to watch. I need to spend more time making things and watching less. But yeah. Yeah, so I forget where I was going originally now with this before I got sidetracked. Anyways, make art. Buy some stuff. Buy some cheap tools and sit and fiddle with it. Have you ever been on the phone and you're listening to somebody talking and you've got a piece of paper and a napkin and a pencil and you're kind of making a bunch of little lines and this is the kind of thing that's like, this is shit that's I think in you. And when you do this sort of stuff, that's this thing I'd like to kind of bring out of people more. It doesn't have to look like anything. It doesn't have to look like anything specific. It just needs to be a little bit creative. And I'm going to be spending some time on helping guide people through that to make that come out more, to make it flourish and get on paper. And that's something that AI can't replicate. You can sit there and type something in and hope it comes out that maybe what you're envisioning, which usually doesn't. But it's another thing to just put the pencil to the paper. And even when things go wrong, when it doesn't go right and you're getting frustrated, maybe the paint's looking muddy, the wrong lines are going down and you want to erase it. And I encourage people not to erase if you can. But yeah. I think there's something really, really special about that when you can create something physical. And you see all these markers. I've got a shelf. It's a mess right now. I'm not going to show it on camera. I got it filled with all this work, all this stuff, all these art supplies that I've collected over the years. Some of it my folks gave me years ago that I've barely used. I've got some oil pastels that they last forever. I want to pop those out and play with them finally. I think there's things I can make with that. And I'm going to be doing some videos with that. So I think there's still a huge demand for art. I think for handmade art, there's a big demand for it. So as far as that, I don't think it's going away anytime soon. Sure, AI can replicate. People will be playing with it. You're going to see a lot of AI art. I think people just need to be honest and say this is what it is. But I think, can I put this up? Oh, I can still do that. Okay. I love art. We're making retro CGI show. Okay. And some 3D and 2D combination of animations that works, but nice. Feel pointless if you haven't made it. Yeah. I'm starting from the point of, to just start making things, to get it down on the paper, take a blank sheet of paper and start messing it up with something, right? Get the ideas out, get everything out. One of my favorite parts of animation, one of my favorite stages was the storyboarding, because it's like the first, well, technically the second stage. The script is the first. It's kind of the second stage. But it's early on because you're telling the whole movie with those little panels, and you're getting all the gestures down. You're not worried about the detail of the characters. You're not worried if it looks exactly like them. You're just getting all these gestures and all the angles and the drama and everything really, really fast. And you're just getting out. You produce these storyboards and you see it. And now we have technology now with like a cell phone, and you can take pictures of those, right? And if you want, you can add voices and music. You can tell the whole story just with storyboards. These really dynamic little stickmen things, and you can make shit with it that. And if you know how to do it and do it properly, you can tell a story right there without even animating anything. And I think that's really cool. I think that the fact that you can do that is amazing. Now, to produce, a fully animated thing takes a long time. I've had an idea for something for years that I wanted to produce. That'll never see the light of day. I always said I wanted to make it as a series. I tried to start it a few times, make a comic book or a web comic out of it. It doesn't work as that. It needed to be animated with sound and music for the whole thing to make the impact, is how I visioned it. But that will probably never happen. But I still have these characters drawn, and I still want to make these little scenes. That's why I wanted to try and punch into AI to see if it could produce what it would look like. And when I tried to put in the character description to see what it came out, it was awful. Awful. It couldn't get anything right. And again, voices were wrong. Character descriptions were way off. It just looked like crap. So I was like, yeah, that's what I figured. So, again, that speaks for what a physical artist can do that AI can't. I take it everybody can hear me okay with this. I'm this old mic that I keep moving away from. It's not the best mic. I need to get my other proper lavalier mic out. But yeah, I don't think it's going anywhere. I think for people to make physical art is something that we all like to do, because it's something that comes from us, that we can be expressive about, that we can make something and show our friends. And I don't think that's going anywhere. So well, I had about 5 or 6 people watching, and I just lost them all. This is going to be pick up more in replay. I know I'm really late. I intend to start these earlier. I might not be doing them on Wednesday. Just so you know, by the way, I used to do a regular show on Wednesdays with my friend Enrique. You might remember him from Sketch Monster or 101 Easy Things to Draw, I think was what it was called. Enrique is his name. He's on YouTube, does a lot on TikTok, Instagram. And he's a guest on here once every couple of weeks. We used to have a show that I called Art Block, and I'm going to be starting Art Block back up. And I'd like to have people on here as a guest every week if I can. We'll get in touch with some artists, some local artists I want to talk to. Some people have been watching on YouTube, and going to try and see if I can talk to a few of these people. I wonder if I can get ACD Art Attack. That would be awesome if I could get him on here. But yeah, we'll get them on and just have discussions about art. And hey, there's Dylan. How you doing? I thought you'd crashed out by now. Yeah, so that was just kind of the first part. My thoughts on that I don't think physical art is going to go anywhere soon. Although I think in a business, as a business structure, is to be hired to make graphics, we might see a huge drop in that. We're going to see some losses there, unfortunately. But I think an artist, I mean, we have this wonderful thing now called the internet and YouTube, and we can start making, you can start producing stuff on your own. You can start selling your own work. And if you know how to promote it, you know how to take the time and promote your own work, you can, you can give yourself some time and keep at it, and you'll get a following. You'll get people that'll want stuff from you, right? You start making prints of your work. That's something else I'm going to be doing, is I have a lot of stuff that I've created, a lot of digital work, some physical, that I'm going to be offering as prints. And I'll probably make, when I do these lives, I take these little breaks, and I have these little commercial breaks that pop up where I have some funny footage that jumps in of old stuff from yesteryear, from the 60s and 70s, these silly little things. And those are usually breaks while I have to run and use the washroom or get a drink of water, which I might be doing in just a few minutes. I'm going to take a break, put one up, and then I'll come back. But I'm going to actually be making one that will show a lot of the prints that I'm offering for sale, and with explanations of how to order it, and if somebody wants a print, and eventually also get it on merch. People like merch. They like to work on shirts and hats and phone covers, and they like to see people's art on something. Shower curtains, I don't know, weirdly, for some reason, people are buying like artwork as shower curtains. Don't know how that one came about, but that's apparently a thing. If there's somebody I know who's does amazing work, does cartoon versions of famous like 70s and 80s TV shows, and apparently people, and he offers them on mugs and t-shirts, but people like the shower curtains. It's got Golden Girls on shower curtains. Don't know how that happens, but Ota King is an amazing 2D. Oh, is that right? I have to look for that. Ota King. All right. Bring that up. If I think of that again later, I'll bring it up there so I can remember to kind of look for that later on. I might take about 2 minutes if you don't mind, because I get a sore throat really quick. It's really dry in here, and I'm going to be like, I'll probably lose everybody, but I will be like right back in about 2 minutes, if that's all right. If you're willing to sort of hang on, and can bear with me. As I said, these are just little clips that I threw together, and I lost track of what's what here. Oh gosh, I don't know if I have the same. I'll use this one. Okay. I will be right back in just a couple of minutes. Enjoy. I'll talk to you in just a moment, and then we'll continue. I want to talk about the new Apple Creative Suite that was just dropped. The announcement for that just dropped yesterday. Talk to you in just a moment.
Sometimes diarrhea can feel like a storm raging in your body.
Sorry, that was not the one I wanted to play. I forgot I had that one even on there. Anyways, that still works, I guess. I just needed to get a drink of water. How's everyone doing tonight? Who's here? Please feel free to jump in and say hi. I know I have a lot of lurkers. And even when, oh boy, but even when they're come in here and they watch, no one says hi anymore. So please, if you're here, please say hello. Tell me you're watching. Just say, hey, it's me. And as I bring something up here, I need to find a couple of things here that are missing. There we go. So this is sort of art related, not quite as far as painting and as far as doing like physical artwork, but it's creativity in a different sense. And that is something that Apple has gone and done. They dropped an announcement for something they call the Creator Studio. And that's... hey, thanks, guy. I'm glad you're still watching. Okay, no worries, Dylan. If you have to go to crash out, that's fine, too. This will still be on the rerun tomorrow. But I kind of want to switch gears a little bit here, and I want to talk about this Creator Studio that dropped. And it's going to try and rival... probably to try and rival what Adobe has. But I'm interested in this. Because it's basically taking a lot of the creative apps that Apple has, and they're putting them together as a subscription service, which generally makes people groan because people are really tired of subscription services. And I'm on board with that. I'm not thrilled about it either. However, to get just to the sort of nitty-gritty details of it, a lot of their things like their Final Cut Pro, Motion, Christ, I forget what it's called. Is it just Motion? I don't know. Like the big ones they have for doing film editing and film video effects and that kind of thing, as well as things like your things that come with your Mac, like your iSuite, or your iWork suite, which they used to call iWork. I don't think they call it that anymore, but it's Pages, Keynote, and Numbers. Remember those? Does anyone still use them? I actually still use them occasionally. All of that's all bundled together in a subscription service. Now, your first thing is saying, wait a minute, I own Final Cut Pro. I just bought it. All those cool things like Keynote and Pages, those are all free, and none of that's changed. You can still buy Final Cut Pro outright. You still get those free programs with your computer when you buy it. It's the exact same thing. They're not reduced in any. They haven't taken anything out. You still get all the updates. It's all exactly the same. It's just that if you decide to get the Creative Suite and you decide to pay for that, and we'll get to the pricing in just a moment, but if you get that, there's some extra bells and whistles that come along with that. So which means that you get extra templates. You get access to photo libraries and references. And you get access to their machine learning AI, right? So all of that as well. And by the way, Apple last year bought Pixelmator and Photomator. I have those, and I've done reviews on them back before they were acquired by Apple. Photomator is really amazing, by the way. If you're into photography, that thing could rival Lightroom. It's not quite there yet, but it's on its way, and I think could really rival Lightroom. It's actually really cool. Pixelmator is kind of I don't want to say Photoshop. I don't know how to describe it. It is sort of like Photoshop, as like a simplified Photoshop, but it's not. You can't really. You can do drawing. You can do that kind of creative thing with it, but it doesn't offer much as far as like a lot of tools. You can add them into it, I guess, but it's not. It feels like it's not really emphasized. Do that. You could think more Canva. More along the lines of Canva. You can create your thumbnails. You can create imagery for your desktop. You can do some creative stuff with photos. So that's and Pixelmator and Photomator are all included in that package as well. So nothing's really changed. You even still have the option. Final Cut Pro, you can still pay for the full thing and get that, or you can pay to a monthly subscription. The monthly subscription. If you are in the United States, you lucky bastards, you pay $12.99 a month if you want, and that includes everything. You don't pick and choose different packages to put together like Adobe. This is everything, the whole thing. $12.99 a month, or $150 for the. Or $150 for the whole year. And yes, I'm going to get to that shortly, Karo. So I'm going to talk about options as well. Yeah, don't feel bad. I'm in the same boat. Because get this. So basically $13 for a month, or if you want to prepay an entire year, $150 American. If you live in Canada, where I do, I'm not impressed. It's going to be $18 a month. Or $180 a year, Canadian. Yeah, not happy about that. I know we get our minimum wage is higher, blah, blah, blah. Still, that's a lot of freaking money. You get a 1 month free trial. I want to find out more about Final Cut Pro, because Final Cut Pro used to offer, they did something really cool. Final Cut Pro, you can get 3 months free, 90 days, right? 90 days free as a trial. And if Final Cut Pro happens to update anything, and it has any major updates to it, you get an additional 90 days. Every time it updates, you get that 90 days again, right? Try it with the update. So you constantly get it. And if you're smart, you know what you're doing. I'm cautious about this, but just bear with me. I know people are like, if you know what you're doing, there is a code you can put into Terminal. If you have Final Cut Pro and you're on the trial, and when your trial ends, you can bring open your terminal, and there's a code you can drop in there, and it restarts your 90 days. The only thing is when you get it, there's a couple of small things you're not getting with it when you're on the trial version. I forget exactly what they are, but it hasn't really affected anything major for me if I'm just editing a YouTube video together. Whatever it is that you're missing in it that you get when you buy it outright hasn't been affected me at all. I really like it. I really like using it. I could probably get away with using iMovie for what I do, but what's it called? The Blackmagic DaVinci Resolve is also free if you like something for video editing. Apparently that's really good. So there's those options. I really like Final Cut Pro a lot, and I'm used to using it now. I'm kind of comfortable with it. But as I said, it's anyways expensive. If you want to buy it outright, Final Cut Pro in the US is $300, and in Canada, it's $400. Yeah, kind of impressed, which is why I'm not buying it. I'm not going to fork that out. It's $400. Like Caro said, you stupid and poor Blender Critter. I never did actually use Blender. I tried to use Blender and I didn't understand it. I never kind of took the time to go back and sit and spend some time with it. So I never did pick up Blender. But I was saying, I've said before the holidays, I did a whole thing on this and I'll say it again. If you are an artist and you have some money you're willing to spend on a program that's relatively inexpensive, I highly recommend Clip Studio Paint. I think if you're an artist, that should be the one you should be using. I picked that over over Photoshop for certain reasons, even though it's missing a few things that Photoshop has. Just as an art drawing tool, a program, that is the way to go. And it's have a look. It's got a funny pricing system. It's odd, but it's not that expensive. I mean, it's like $30 for the year, I think, if that. And then if you want the update license, an extra $10 a year. So I mean, at the most $40 a year is. Oh no, it's not even a year. You buy the version that you have. So I paid like $30, and I have version 3, and I pay the update pass, which gives me updates to that. And this is standard. There's Clip Studio and Clip Studio Paint Pro. And Pro is, if you're working in a comic book company, you're really serious, you really need it, you can then maybe. But if you're not, the regular one is more than enough. But I've been using Clip Studio for years. I swear by it now. For using, and it's, if you're into making comic books, it has an incredible layout plan for doing comic book panels. Krita, I tried Krita and I wasn't thrilled about it, but if you're looking for something 100% free, if I was really down to that, where I could only have something that was completely free, I'd have probably gone with Krita. I can get used to it. I'm just not thrilled about it, and now that I'm spoiled with Clip Studio Paint, that's my go-to. I also have Affinity. Got it mainly because I got a long time ago, and I've just sort of been sticking it out with it. So I have an Affinity is also free, by the way. It's free because they want you to get it was bought by Canva. They want you to get the Canva subscription. So if you're, I don't need Canva at all. So I have the new version free after paying for the original 3. Now it's completely free now, the new one. Yeah. It's frustrating. Here's the share screen here. I should bring this up in the background. How did I do that? Anyways, I'll put that up just so it looks snazzy. It's better. Yes, apparently I heard Krita has 2D animations. AI can help you with a side hustle. Oh, okay. If it helps you, I don't take anything away from anybody. If it If you get use out of it, go you if you can do it. Yeah, Critter I know has 2D animation. I just haven't had the chance to sit down and spend time on it. I even have a couple of the 2D animation programs that are free. Pencil. Can't even think what they're called. Something Pencil 2D. God, I can't even think of the name of it now. Anyways, I have that, and I spend more time on it. And I have on the iPad. I got Procreate Dreams on there. I really want to spend some time learning how to use that. I knew how to use the old version, and then they updated it and changed a whole lot of stuff around. And now I got to refigure it all out again. Spend some time on that. I'm going to be getting a lot of use out of that. There are always options. There are always options to anything that you need for editing and whatnot. There's always free options out there. So do I have a reel? I don't. I guess just with my work, not yet. I should put something like that together. I don't. I never. If you're talking about animation, I never. I was in layout and design. It was like in the '90s, and you don't retain the work, obviously. I could probably find a couple of the episodes and go, oh yeah, there's that one I did the other day. I found one actually before the holidays. I found one or two little clips. I went, oh yeah, I remember drawing that little background, that little tree and corner of the building and all that in there. So it's there. But I am going to be, you are going to start seeing on here when I do live streams, when I go to my breaks and whatnot, you'll see some of my work. Anyways, Creator Studio. Yeah, it's really friggin' expensive. So it's up to you if you want to invest in something like that, and if not, there's always free options. How did that close up? What the heck just happened? I didn't even hit anything, and it just closed out on me. Did YouTube just do that? Yeah, I know a lot of people that love Babar. It was a really popular show, and people still love to watch Babar. Anyway, so if you don't want to, I have a Mac, and so some of these I have automatically for free, and that doesn't change. Updates are for free. I've gone over stuff before. I've talked about programs to use, optional programs, ones you can pay a little before. Sketchbook, I think, is free. Sketchbook Pro, I think, or maybe there is a small fee for that one. I like using that one to do some preliminary work. It's not as thorough as a lot of the big programs, but there's something really fun about Sketchbook Pro I really like using on the tablet. And I have Affinity. I was talking about Affinity, which is also now completely free because they want you to get the updates with Canva. If you have Canva, again, you get the AI features. No, whatever. The full version of everything you need as an artist is in the full Affinity program. And I mean, if you want to flip for Photoshop, I swore off Adobe. The only thing I have of Adobe is Fresco, which is for the iPad, and because Fresco is kind of amazing. I actually really like Fresco, and they used to be $10 a year. Now it's free. It's free. If you have an iPad, you want a good drawing program, something that would rival Procreate, Fresco, it's free. Again, they want you to get all the other, they want you to update and get the bells and whistles that come with it if you get like Photoshop or something, right? Photoshop's friggin' expensive. I'm sort of done with Adobe. I won't get anything by Adobe. But yeah, so that went really quick. I actually thought I'd be here talking a lot longer, and I've only been on here an hour. I have a secondary camera set up to my right. I can maybe what I'll do in just a minute. I have this set up so that I can draw on the tablet here, and it'll come up on the screen. As soon as I just turn that off, I don't know why I did that. And I can set up Clip Studio Paint and open and draw a little bit with that. And eventually too, when I do the physical work, I finally have the camera set up over the desk. I just need to clean my desk off because it's a mess. And then you can see some of the work I'll be doing. Actually, physical work. I love using watercolor. Got piles of markers. Got lots of different these are Copics, and I have a lot of Copics I need to start using. I invested in some for some stupid reason and paid way too much for them, and now I realize that the stuff just is good. Copic, you're paying for the name. I mean, Copic's nice. It blends probably really, really good, but Ohuhu is fantastic and much, much cheaper. I should have just done that. Anyways, I've got a bunch of markers, and I'll be going through them. Pastels, be doing some drawings, right? I've done lots of demos on physical paper. There's stuff here. I have these things called Tombos that are wonderful. I love to paint with, and you can get some really, really cool thing with Tombos, and they're cheaper and they're water-based. They're not ink-based, so they blend and work differently. People buy the water-based markers thinking they're ink and can't figure out why they don't work. And I'm going to show you how you can make some cool stuff. Here's another example using some pastels that I did a few weeks ago. I've done a little bit on the TikToks, but TikTok doesn't really do a whole lot for me, except that I try to use it to gear people to come back here. So like I've got all my squatches and everything that I did tests with. So yeah, so I want to get that back up and going, and I want to get some guests on here. If I'm going to bring back Art Block, if you're familiar with my good friend Enrique, oh, here's a cute page of some stuff that I did there a few weeks ago. So it gives you an idea of what I've been doing. My good friend Enrique, if you're not familiar with who he is, I recommend going looking for Sketch Monster or Easy Things to Draw 101. And we'll go from there. And I'm hoping to maybe have a drawing. So we should come in and chat. And he's got a lot to say about AI. Well, he's got a lot to say about that. And we sort of clash on. Oh, that's terrible. We clashed on a few things. Not clash is a strong word. We had a few differences of opinions on a couple of things, but I want to get him up here and get drawing. I'd like to see if maybe him and I can do like a drawing session together, so that we can both be drawing some things. And it was a cute little page. I did that like over a year ago. That stuff. That's just we did some quick little squashes and using the Tombow water-based markers. Right. So. Lots that we're going to be doing on here. If you haven't, if any of this interests you, and I'm going to be doing like the artist therapy session, subscribe, help me out, man. That would I'd really appreciate it if you could. If you really want to tune and find out when I'm going to go live, hit the bell notification and all that good stuff. And I hope to be on here at least 3 times a week. Whether it's a pre-recorded video or it's live, I hope to be on here much more frequently. I need to be, actually, partially just for my own mental sanity. I need to be doing something. I've got some work that I will be selling. I can actually bring some up. If you want to see some of my work that I've done, this is some of the digital work. Do you want to see some of the digital work? I'll show you some of the digital work. Give me just 1 minute to bring the information up on my computer, because I have it in my backup folder. If you have any other questions, by the way, feel free to throw them out, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my degree. But let me just see, where the hell is my artwork? Art for print. Oh, should I use these ones? The art for prints and art projects. Let's see what I can do here. I'm also a big Godzilla fan. I grew up watching kaijus. I used to love drawing lots of kaijus, and I haven't in a long time, and I kind of miss that. I think I should get back to that again. So yeah, that's going to be something I'm going to be. Come on, screen. Window. I have to kind of keep going back and forth. I don't want to open and show my desktop if that's all right. So I'll just do this sort of a bit at a time. But I was also a big Warner Brothers fan. This is something I'm going to be selling as a print. So that's one that I've got. What else have I got here? Oh no, I just opened the wrong program. No, damn it. Sorry, give me 1 second. When you click the wrong file, you click the one that's like the Photoshop or whatever, the PSD file, and you're like, no, that's not what I wanted. So as I said, if you have some questions. I did that one when Kong versus Godzilla came out. What I should do maybe is just select them. I wonder if I can just select them, and then I could just go through it. Let's try that. I'm actually hungry. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I am freakishly hungry. I can just select a bunch of them here. I don't think I got the right page. I apologize here. I have a page that says art for prints, but there's the ones that I had adjusted sizes. I think this is the one. Yeah, I can go through and just select a bunch of them, and I know I'll be repeating a few, but that's okay. All right, so let's see if I can do that way. So that's a tough one. Because I like so many. The movie that got me, that I still love to watch to this day, that got me into doing animation, was A Secret of NIMH. I always love that film. I think I always will. That one I think I'm going to take to my grave with me. Loved Secret of NIMH. As problematic as I know it is, it looks gorgeous. And the fact that whole thing, it was long before computers came into it, and the things they needed to do by hand physically to make some of those scenes work. And this is before they had a lot of money, before Spielberg paid them to do American Tail. This is stuff they did kind of on their own. It's an amazing film. And there's a couple here. We'll do this. So yeah, so you need to get an idea of some of the work that I've done here. And these are all can be done as this was my Valentine's Day. Sometimes it's hard to pick just a movie, but sometimes there's scenes or characters. Madame Medusa from Rescuers. Rescuers might not be up on one of my favorite films, but that character, that was Milt Kahl. I still consider one of the greatest animators that ever lived. And if you ever watched The Rescuers, it was his final job, but the animation that went into that character, I don't know why I have that one in there, is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. The Rescuers. I'm talking the one from the 70s, 90s. Oh, was that reference to Secret of NIMH was 80s, and Rescuers, the first one was the 70s. But the villain of that story, Madame Medusa. This is it's not keeping it up for some reason. Oh, is it? Maybe, because that's yeah, it probably is. It probably is because that's where I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and that's when I went to school, and that's what the 80s, the 90s is probably what really kind of formed my style. So I wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, that one I did on this one of this dragon was one I did on the tablet, on the iPad, and that's with Procreate. This was one of someone gave me the idea is if I did if Doctor Who regenerated as a cat. The Ether Bunny, which I don't think people fully get. It's so wrong. I showed you my Godzilla versus Kong. I had one with the KVG underneath it. Some of these are stuff I was just this is just doodles. Shiny Nickel, if you know what that's from. This is an acrylic painting I did for some friends of mine years ago. And I just asked, I says, do you mind, like I did it specifically for them because they helped take care of my dad before he passed away. And they asked for a painting of a wolf, and I did this one. Turned out kind of nice, and I just says, do you mind if I take some pictures of it? You have the original. I says, I'm giving you the original. I just like to take some pictures, and then I can maybe do prints. And I've only ever sold 2 prints on it. But yeah, they were okay with that. So that was years ago. This one literally is the 90s. I think some of this one I think I did in chalk pastel, really quick Conte, rather colored Conte back in the early 90s, mid 90s. So this one again, you have to know B movies if you know what Manos Hands of Fate is. I made a joke about making it as a cereal box called Manos, the Cereal of Fate. So, and if you know the movie, you'll know the references of everything in that. Cookies, I'm not sure why I did that. The Evil Cupcake. This was sort of why is that not coming through? I'm still stuck on that one. Oh, I know why. I switched. It's open in another. There we go. Somebody's having an online contest, and for his cupcake characters. He never did anything with it, I don't think. But I ended up making this funny cupcake character I was quite proud of, actually, and I lost. Lost to somebody else. But I went, fine, damn it, I'm going to finish it, and I colored it, and throw it up as a print. So people really like this one for some reason. It seems to catch with a lot of younger people, so I'll make it as a cheap print. And this one I did as a joke. Do you remember when I sort of want to fix a few things. I don't like the desk. Do you remember a few years ago, it sort of became an internet meme. There was a lawyer talking to somebody online, and the daughter had been playing on his computer and got it stuck that turned him into a cat head. And he's in this really important meeting online, and his bloody computer is turning him into a cat. And he's like panicking, trying to turn it off. And he's like, I'm really not a cat, everyone. You have to, if you don't remember that, you have to go find that. And so when I saw that, I couldn't resist making this. I said, I really have a cat. So yeah, so that's a little bit, anyways. To get, and I did my Halloweens. For Halloween, I did these stickers where I took this bean shape, and I did the whole set of Universal monsters, showing just starting with these bean heads. And I am gonna I did stickers, and I've lost my sticker packs, and I'm gonna see if I can find them. The stickers are just the heads, but I'm gonna be taking the whole ones with the backgrounds as cards, and if I can find them, I've got the packaging here. This is the art for the packaging. There's the cutouts. No, that's not them. I got the single cutouts. I wanted to find the full ones here with the backgrounds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. Okay. I wish they'd open all into one window. And then I'm going to close it down after this. I should kind of doing this backwards. Oh, they're all over. They're all mixed up. So yeah, I'm thinking of doing like some cards. I'm talking to somebody about developing a really simple little card game. that can use these. I'm going to make a few more. I got the standard 8 Universal monsters. Dracula, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, the Mummy, the Mum Bean. I've added Bean into everything. Wolf Bean. This one I still need to work on. Phantom of the Opera. Made it try to look like Lon Chaney. And then finally, the creature from the Black Lagoon. Oh, and I've got, of course, not to be left out, the Invisible Bean. I wasn't sure how to do this one, so that was a bit tricky. But those are my... and I advertise those every Halloween when I do my big Halloween show. So there, that's a little sampling of some of the work that I do. Wish I had the stuff that was my iPad. There's some stuff I did on my iPad. I could run and grab it. I don't think I'm going to do that now. Phantom of the Paradise. Phantom of the Paradise was based on the Phantom of the Opera. This was based on the Universal monsters. And they are, most of those are in public domain. So I can do things with that. Phantom of the Paradise. It'd be fun to do a drawing of that, though. Fun to do something with that. But for something like that, it's still, the rights are still held on that. I have to be careful what I'm selling. Same thing, I've got like a Bugs Bunny drawing up there. I should be careful because it's still kind of owned by Warner Brothers. So, oops, I almost hit end stream. Jeez. No. Come on. Can't turn it on and I can't turn it off. But those were just some of them. And I'm going to do some kaiju. I'll do some monsters as well. The Godzilla monsters and all that good stuff. All right, for prints, I can't find the other ones. Oh, that's too bad. There's a lot of roughs in that here that I've got. I can't find the other ones I did on the iPad. I got some, what I guess would be called digital painting that I did on the iPad. The Mask? Oh, for fan, yeah, for it was. Man, I still remember when I was a kid. I was very, very young when that film came out. I was too young, and I still remember seeing the commercial for that when it came on TV. And these prints, I can get some of these up. When the commercial for that came on TV, and it freaked me the hell out. It frightened me, actually, because I was only 6. And the commercial for it scared the shit out of me. Here's one of them. I don't have... Because the voice on that was terrifying. So there's another little sample of some of the digital art that I do. These will all be up there as prints. I don't know whether to just sell them as individual prints or sell them as some merch on shirts, that kind of thing. So just cute little things like this. I'm also doing, sorry, I don't know if I just started to say this a minute ago or not. I'm doing some, I'm getting involved in photography. And that's not that one. So that'll be something else too. Then I'm going to be selling some prints. I've got some of Toronto. I've taken a couple from when I was in England. I've got a couple of really nice ones I did of double-decker bus that turned out really nice. By the way, if you want to see some more samples of my work, I do have an Instagram account under the same name, Phil Chandler Arts. If you're on Instagram, I'd love it if you come over, check it out, give me a follow. And if you're really nice, I'll follow you back. I don't mind. Let me know who you are that you saw this video. But I think that's going to be it. I've been on for an hour and 20 minutes. Yeah, I think I'm going to call it there for the night. This was just sort of very impromptu. I was coming off of another conversation off another stream, and I did want to get out my thoughts about AI, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that creative suite that's coming up. So yeah, if you heard news about that, if you've got, nothing's changed as far as what you own. If you have a Mac and you own all those apps, nothing's changing. If you own Final Cut Pro, don't worry, you still own it. You can still buy it outright. You can buy it outright or have the subscription, one or the other. So none of that changes. As if you have the subscription, you get a few extra bells and whistles and access to their photo library and AI shit and whatnot that nobody cares about. So that is going to be it. Thank you to everyone for joining me. Karos, Vector, thank you so much for popping in. It's nice to have some feedback to come off of and to chat with somebody. We had Dana Kenny, I saw pop in, and our good friend Dylan. And if you're still with me, Dylan, go to bed. I'm hungry. I'm actually going to get something to eat. It's 1:30 in the morning. My schedule's all screwed up because I work part-time still, and it's keeps me, the hours are late, so it's bugging my system up. Yeah, it was tonight. Thank you, Karos. You take care, everyone. All the best, and keep an eye out. I will be doing a lot more streams. I work Thursdays and Fridays. I don't. Saturdays, I want to get in the habit of getting on here on Saturdays. Saturdays and Wednesdays, absolutely for sure. Plus one more day, probably for like a video, like a YouTube style edited together video, and then Saturday and Wednesdays will be my streams. All right. All the best, everyone. Thank you again for joining me in here. And I hope to see everybody all again very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Have a great night.